When your client is making a booking, you might want to collect certain information so that you can have it before the meeting starts. So say a person wants to book on the 9th of January at 9 o'clock. You'll notice that there are default lines or default questions that we find there. For example, the name and the email cannot be removed uh, on the invitee form. However, you can change the location in this question here. That's question 1. If you notice, there is a button which says add guests. This allows you or allows the client or the invitee to add additional people to that meeting. But if you don't want that and you only want to meet with one person, then you can remove that option. So I'm going to show you how to make these changes on the invitee form. So if you go to the consultation, so if you come here to the scheduling page and you go to the consultation meeting, you then find more options and then scroll down to where it says invitee form. If you notice there, the first part we're talking about, which is compulsory, we can't remove it, collects the name and the email. So for example, you might want to collect the first name and the last name and then the email. If you notice in the example that we talked about, the person can just come and put their first name there. So to force them to put their last name, we choose this option. We'll see how that changes on the other page, on the booking page rather. Sometimes you might have a meeting where people keep on coming and booking, and maybe they have to fill out a lot of information. You can tick this area so that the system automatically fills out the information they used last time. It's actually a way that the page remembers the person's entries. So these entries are mainly the invitee name, email, and text reminder phone number. The other questions the person has to fill in on their own. If you do not want your invitee to add additional guests, you just turn this off here. Now, the location is changed elsewhere, but you can change the label of where it says location. When a person gets notifications from Calendly, where they will access the Zoom link or maybe your office address, it will be written location. So probably if you want to change the word location, you can actually change it here. Say you're only working with Zoom, then you write Zoom there. That's how it will appear on all notifications. Now you remember the first question we had here. It says, please share anything that would help us to prepare for our meeting. So I had changed it a bit there, but this is how the question was. But I do not want to have such a question. So I edit this part and write gender. So this will change this part to write gender. We want to change the type of question from one where a person types in their answer to what we call radio buttons. So right now, I'm just going to put male and then female. So you will see that these radio buttons allow a person to choose a response, not to type in, but they can only choose one response. If I want to force a person to answer this question, we click required. This means that they cannot proceed to the next part of the booking without filling in this part. If you untick this, it means they can skip that question and they can continue the booking. Another type of question we can have is a typed in question. Let's make it required as well. Let's say, what is your date of birth? As you can see here, we can choose one line where they can put their date of birth, and we can also choose what we call multiple lines. It only gives them, what it means is that it gives them a larger area to type in. So this is used when you want a person to write more information. But in this case, one line will suffice. We can add another type of question. Say in this meeting, we want to know what the person owns. Maybe it's a question that helps us to evaluate the client before we see them. So probably we want to know which assets they own. How do we do that? Well, we're just going to type a different question here on question 3, which is checkboxes. Checkboxes allow you to tick more than one answer. So in this case, I'm just going to type uh, which assets, which assets do you own? I'm also going to make that a required field. So I'm just going to type in the assets. So I've typed in house, car, and shares. You can also add another option there by just clicking this part. For example, we want to add in, say, a plane. You can add another option just below that, which is the other option. The other option allows the person to type in something that was not presented on the checkboxes. Now, always make sure that the status is on. If the status is off, it means that question will not appear. You might also want to collect the phone number. Now, the phone number has its own type of question or answer type. Let's make that required, and then we scroll down to where it says phone number. So it will force the person to enter the phone number in the right format. So it's a way of making sure you get the correct number. Now we've talked about all of the questions that we can face except one, which is the drop down. The drop down is almost the same as the radio buttons, but the person simply clicks and the drop down appears. So we're just going to copy what we have on the male and female. There is another option that you can use. So let's just write gender again. There you go. So this is how we set up questions. And remember, you can put up to 10 questions here. And these questions will then be sent to you on your email, but you can also view them when a person books on that event that has been booked. I'll show you how to see that. So once we do this, we then click save. Remember, our booking page used to look like this. We're going to refresh it to see how it looks now. There we go. The first name and last name have been separated. The email and the first name and last name will always be there. The location is still the same. That's the label of the location. Notice that the gender here is using what we call radio buttons. To show that this is a required field, you will see a star there. If there is no star, it means it's not a required field and the person can skip it. Also notice that the gender can be put there as a drop down. You can choose male or female as the drop down. Your date of birth can be typed there to say, and a person can then choose from these tick boxes to say, I have a house, I have shares, I have a plane, and also can add other options by typing there. For example, a person might say, is a block of apartments, so they can put that there, or they can untick some of the things. The phone number can be added here and it will be in a formatted state. So after a person finishes this, they can then schedule the event. So this is how a person can work with invitee questions.